Hi everyone, I'm Jan. I'm an environmental educator with the Lake County Forest Preserves, and I just want to say I miss all of you, all of my families and friends that come out to see me at my programs out in the forest preserves. I miss going on our exploration adventures in nature, finding treasures. We always find such fun, cool things whenever you're out when I'm with you, and so I really miss that. So I'm going to start having my own nature adventures right here with Chan, right either in my yard or neighborhood or in a neighborhood park. So come along with me and join me for adventures in nature with me, Jan. And our first adventure today, what I'd like to do is say one of the best things we can do when we're having adventures in nature is to use all of our senses. So the very first thing for maybe some of you who haven't been out with me, the very first thing you want to do is make sure you're using your sight. All you have to do is walk outside the door and look and see what's outside, okay? You're gonna see so many different things, like the bark on the tree, okay? So let's look at one of our other senses. The next one is sound. Oops. So what sense do we use when we hear sound? We use our ears and our sense of hearing. So if we're really quiet and we use deer ears, we can focus around. Oh, I heard some birds chirping. So you never know what you might hear. Right now in spring, the frogs are calling and the birds are chirping like crazy. Our next sense would be smell. Okay, well, what do I have to smell close up? I'm gonna smell the bark of this tree. I'd say it smells kind of woody. I don't know, that's not a very good description, but there will be lots of other things we can try to use our sense of smell coming up in later episodes. So once we get through our next sense of touch, oh, that's one of my favorite ones, because check out the bark on this tree. These two trees together, they're kind of long, smooth, straight pieces, but look at them. They're starting to peel in big peely flakes. And that is because it's a shagbark hickory. That is a characteristic of a shagbark hickory, so we can use our eyes and look at it and see that it's really peeling. We can feel it and feel the cracks underneath. Now, I've been observing a bird coming to this tree lately in the yard, and it's called a little brown creeper, and it pops up the tree and goes underneath the bark and looks for bugs or insects to eat, and it just keeps creeping up the tree. That's really cool. But now look at this tree compared to the tree over there, and I'm gonna walk over there slowly and see this one that's kind of gray and smooth and kind of platey chunks, but still kind of in rectangular shape. This is an oak tree, a white oak, one of my favorite trees also, shagbark hickories and oak trees, because you know what they produce? They produce nuts, and nuts are great food for our native animals because they're high in fat. That's what's helped them live all through the winter. Our acorns from the oak trees and hickory nuts from the shagbark hickory tree. Now, again, using touch. Oh, I'll hug a tree while I'm at it because it just makes me feel good. And trees are awesome, big giant water pumps. And we'll talk about that in episodes to come. But first, again, I want us to focus on what we'll be doing on upcoming adventures in nature. So our sense of taste, and if my cameraman gets a good view of all of these senses, sight, sound, smell, touch, we really want to use those for taste. Not so much in the wild. Let me grab this. I dropped that. I'm going to come over to my sheet here, and my cameraman will get a picture of all the different things I have. Let me kneel down. And sense of taste. So I really do like to taste things. and things do grow like wild strawberries and blueberries, and I don't have any raspberries, but raspberries grow wild around here as well. And ooh, I love blueberries. But I would not recommend tasting anything out in the wild because there are a lot of plants that look the same as other plants, and a lot of those plants can be poisonous. So that's the one thing you don't want to do when you're out in nature, is really use your sense of taste unless you're with an absolute expert. I would recommend growing some food in your very own garden. That might be awesome, and that'd be a great way to taste food outdoors in nature. So the other thing, when you're using your senses outside in nature, you're making observations. So that just makes nature so much more enjoyable because you're really focusing in on those different senses. And each time we go on an adventure in nature, we'll maybe talk about a different sense. We'll also do some playing or make a craft or an activity. I love, anyone who's been out on programs with me knows that I love to create things out of natural materials. So I'm just going to point some of these things out. So I have a big collection of nuts and seeds, acorn caps, and hickory nuts, and these look like buckeyes. They're actually horse chestnuts. I don't know if you can zoom in on these, Cliff. And we have some sweet gum pods. And oh, we have these big, giant, curly pods that I found. I've been collecting. I've been walking in the park right around my neighborhood. And my friend and I, we've been collecting seed pods. Look at one I found here. I found the perfect one that makes a perfect question mark. Can you see that? Don't you think that looks like a question mark? Yes? Do you? Yes. I'm glad you agreed. And look at this. Look at this curly pod I found. What do you think that looks like if you saw it on the trail? I know what you're thinking. Animal poop. Yes. And what do we call that when we talk in scientific terms? Scat. S-C-A-T, scat. So we'll be learning some scientific animal terms like animal poop we call scat. And when it's twisty like that, a lot of times that means it's probably left by a coyote or a fox. What are some other things? Oh, here's a black walnut shell. Oh, and I found one of my very favorites. Oh, see if I can find it. I set it out here so it'd be ready when you came to visit me. Look at this. Looks like a pig nose, right? Shake your head if you agree. Yes, okay. So what we can do, and if you look around, I have some toy animals. I have sticks, I have branches, I have pods, seed pods, I have leaves, I have rocks, I have all kinds of natural items. And if you come close and look at my book here, it says, look what I did with a leaf. So we might venture through this book and see what kinds of creative things we can do with leaves. I also have the reason for a flower. And maybe we'll read a book and talk about why are there flowers? What is the reason for a flower? And I can tell you that in an coming episode in Adventures with Nature with Jan. And until we can get back out in the forest preserves together, I miss you so much, but I hope you'll join me and tell me what you'd like to see in our Adventures in Nature with Jan. Just go to our website, www.lcfpd.org, or find us on Facebook or on Twitter, and just join me, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks. Bye.